I'm so excited to be able to talk about this topic that I know that a lot of you therapists really got to have the answers to, because at the end of the day, we got to get our finances in order. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. So stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Keisha Sando here, the founder of Peaceful Mental Health Counseling Services and also the founder of Authentic Profitable Practice, where we help therapists like you start from the ground up to build a successful therapy practice. So I'm going to give you my ways that I have incorporated a strategy that has allowed me to be able to run my business successfully and also make sure that I stay away from any tax issues or any financial issues within my business. So I'm going to give you my tips that I have used. Now, I want to start this off by saying that I'm not an accountant. I am not a lawyer. So whenever you have any questions concerning money for yourself and your business, you definitely want to make sure that you speak to an accountant or speak to a tax professional. Today, I'm just going to give you information about things that I have used that provides information, and then you could take that information and learn what's best for you. So one of my first tips that I've used in terms of what has helped me to manage the finances within my private practice has been establishing my own business account. Now, this question comes up a lot because sometimes people as therapists, we feel like, oh, especially if we are just a solo practitioner, we think that we could just have our own personal account and then we could just funnel money through there. But I'm here to tell you that for me, using my own business account has definitely been very instrumental in helping me to manage my finances. The bottom line is that you want to have one account where you can funnel all of your finances through. And so for me, having a separate account is something that I've actually been able to use to make sure that I am creating a budget for myself in terms of my personal account, but then also creating a separate budget for my business. And having my own account has helped me to stay within that budget. So one of the things that's really important is that you want to be able to identify what things you are paying out and what things you are actually receiving. So with that, if you have your own separate business account, you'll always be able to see your accounts payable and your accounts receivable. Now, if you have your money coming in and funneling through the one account, which you also use for personal expenses, then that's going to be a little bit difficult for you to determine that, because you're going to have money coming in and going out that you may not be using for your business. So it's going to be really difficult for you to try to budget or at least stay within a budget. Okay, so that's going to be one of those things that you really want to pay attention to, and one perk to actually having a business account. Now, the other part of this, of having a business account, is that it just helps to establish you as a business. You are able to show your diligence and your responsibility as a business. And in the event that you need to maybe obtain additional funds for your business, you'll be able to do that because they can have a list of what you have been paying out, that you pay your bills on time, that you have a certain amount of money specifically for your business. These are things that other companies, specifically funding companies, actually take a look at. So if you're thinking about doing anything with your business in terms of expansion, be it trying to get like a building or maybe trying to get additional funding for certain services within your business, you want to make sure that you have a record that you can give to them that is specifically for your business, and they'll be able to really kind of see what the life of your business is like and also see the structure and how you manage it. So for me, I believe that having a business account for your private practice is one of the most essential components that you should have within your business. Number two, another strategy that I use to help maintain the finances within my business is making sure that I'm putting taxes aside. When you have a mental health practice, it's extremely important to remember that you have to pay taxes. Now, we know that we have taxes that come around definitely every year. But as a solo practitioner, you have what they call estimated taxes. Now, with estimated taxes, we have those things that are happening where we take a certain percentage of the money that we have received throughout the year or within that quarter. And then we actually take that money and we give the government the taxes that we owe during that period. Now, I do know that some practitioners may save up the money. They may use that business account that they have and actually take out the money each time they get paid and then go in and put that money into a specific account. Now, you can definitely use that money and put it into that account that we talked about, the business account, or you can actually create a whole different account that is specifically for taxes. Now, I do recommend this particular strategy because then that way, again, we don't want our money to get enmeshed with other things that we're doing. So if you have a specific account that you use for taxes, then this will definitely help to make sure that whether you're doing your taxes on a quarterly basis or if you're doing your taxes on an annual basis, either way, whenever you're submitting the money, you will have the amount of money that you need to have had throughout that entire year. So definitely make sure that you have some system, that you have an account where you are taking out your taxes throughout the year. Again, I want to reference this again, that you do need to speak to your tax professional because every situation is going to look different. My situation in terms of how much taxes I need to take out every quarter or every year, it's going to look different for you because it depends on how much you had coming in. It depends on if you have dependents. It depends on if you own property. It's a lot of other factors. So again, I recommend that you speak to your tax professional, but just know that it's super, super important to make sure that you are conscious and aware of taking out money for your taxes because you're definitely going to owe them during tax time. It has Something else that has helped me to be able to manage my finances within my practice has been understanding the payment cycles of the vendors that I work with. Now, for instance, this could mean a company that you work with, maybe a community agency that pays you, or it could even mean like an insurance company that is going to pay you for services that you rendered. Now, what you want to take into consideration is how long after you submit a claim or after you submit an invoice should you actually expect to get paid. So if I submit my claim to a vendor today, let's say it's March 15th, when should I expect to get paid? These are conversations you want to have with your vendors. Am I going to get paid 30 days from now? Am I going to get paid 60 days from now? Or will I get paid 90 days from now? Most vendors are going to be somewhere between 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. But I will tell you that there are some vendors, some insurance companies actually, that will pay you within that same week, a couple of days later, or even 2 weeks later. So it really varies. And this is why it's even more important for you to make sure that you are speaking to your vendors and making sure you understand what their payment cycles are. The reason why this is important is because, remember, we want to look at our budget. We want to make sure that we know when money has to come out, when money has to come in. The best way we know that is by understanding the payment cycles. Now, if I know that I'm going to get a certain amount of money every 30 days, then I may be able to attribute certain money for my bills according to that time frame in which I know I'm going to get paid. And especially, like, let's say if you're using a credit card for something, we know we don't want to get into credit card debt. So one of the suggestions may be we use our credit card to make a payment on an item at that particular time, knowing that maybe within 15 days or 30 days, we would be able to expect a certain amount of money to pay that bill back off. So that's going to be another reason why it's important for you to understand the payment cycles of your vendors. Lastly, I want to talk to you a little bit about invoicing. Invoicing is something that you definitely need to have when it comes time to getting paid. So what you want to look at is creating a specific invoice that you can use. Now, definitely keep in mind that different vendors that you use may have a different invoicing system. If you're working with insurance companies, you will likely have an electronic system where you're going to submit your claims in that system. But you may be working with a community vendor and they will ask you to submit an invoice. Now, some of these community vendors may actually have a specific invoice that you can use or that they want you to use actually, but There are going to be some vendors that you may find that they will just say, send me an invoice. You want to make sure that you are prepared when it comes down to submitting that invoice. So some of the things that you want to look at and make sure that you have on an invoice are the name of your company, your tax ID, the date of service, where you want the payment to be sent, and of course, the total amount due. Now, there's different ways that you can do invoicing. There's also plenty of free templates that you can find online, but I want to make sure that at least you have a general idea of what it's like. And if you have any further questions regarding the invoicing, definitely send me a message and I'll send you a template that I use. So just to go over some of the tips that I have used that helps me to maintain the finances within my private practice. First, we talked about establishing a business account. Secondly, we talked about making sure that even with that business account, you have money set aside to take care of your taxes. Thirdly, we talked about understanding the payment cycles of your vendors. And lastly, we talked about the importance of creating and having an invoice. So I hope this helps you just to give you a little bit of information about how you can establish your finances and make sure that you're maintaining your finances within your business. Remember, it's all about systems. It's all about the programs that you have that makes you successful. I want you to remember to be authentic, stay authentic, work authentically. Take care, and I'll see you next time.